Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the first Mentor Resource Program Workshop by Ambition in Motion for the spring semester of 2019. I am really excited to be working with you all. My name is Garrett Mintz, and I'm the founder and CEO of Ambition in Motion. I'm really excited to be working with you all. I'm really excited to be connecting you with mentors and going through with you on this journey this semester to help you get you closer to where you want to be professionally and as a person growing in your professional field. So, I'm the founder and CEO of Ambition in Motion, and I want to just kind of create some clear expectations for how the program will work this semester. So for this specific workshop, the workshop is going to be roughly 45 minutes with another 15 minutes for Q&A. List your questions in the comment section. I've already listed the first comment in the comment section already. But during this workshop, we're going to cover how to achieve success in the program, how to expand your network and begin having conversations with people you want to surround yourself with, and how you can begin working towards a goal with your mentor. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, your mentor is not a handout. Don't get me wrong, your mentor is going to be there to help guide you through to where you want to be professionally. But at the end of the day, I really want to stress this and the importance of this, that your mentor is not someone who's going to hand you an internship or hand you a job or hand you a promotion. They're someone that's going to help guide you as you work towards those outcomes. So I wanted to also at the same time set some proper expectations. If you think this program is going to guarantee you an internship or a job or getting promoted faster than your peers, that's not a guarantee, and I want to be very clear with that. However, we have seen many mentees that have used this program get those types of outcomes through the program. We've helped students land jobs with like Google. We've helped people get promoted in their work. We've helped people land internships with like the Milwaukee Brewers and other professional opportunities that maybe they never thought were possible before they started in Ambition in Motion, and they helped realize were possible as they progressed through the program through the course of the semester. So I want to make sure that you have the right mindset when you come into this program. Now, I also want to set the mindset and the expectation on the other end. I mean, if you come in with a negative mindset and you're pessimistic, I mean, you're going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, you paid $50 to be in this program. I want you to make the most out of this experience. So what I really want to focus on is helping you come in with the right mindset to make the most out of this experience. So you might be thinking to yourself, like, who is this guy? How did he start Ambition in Motion? How is he qualified to give me insight into how I'm going to get to where I want to be professionally? And how is his company, how is this program and my mentor going to help me get and achieve my professional goals? So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on me. And this story is going to sound a little crazy, but it's my story, and I think it helps give some context as to why we do what we do with Ambition in Motion and how we're so effective at helping people get to where they want to be. So for me, my background is I've been an entrepreneur for essentially my whole life, some in healthy outlets, some in not healthy outlets. From age 15 to age 19, I was a drug dealer. Yeah, I know that's going to sound crazy hearing that. At the end of my freshman year at Indiana University, I got arrested in an undercover operation by the Indiana University Police Department. I got 5 felony distribution charges. I was expelled, and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I mean, it hit me like a brick wall, because up until that point in time in my life, I thought success was you go to school, you get good grades, you get a job and you make money, and somewhere along those lines you just find yourself, you just figure it all out. And nobody up until that point in time in my life that I thought was successful ever had done something like that. So I either had to accept being a failure or redefine my definition of success. Now, fortunately for me, I was able to figure it out. And I figured it out because I ended up getting enrolled in a program in St. George, Utah, that exposed me, 1, to mentors, and 2, it helped me figure out how I could impact people's lives as well as impact my own life and become successful, even though I had made a huge mistake. Now, when I joined this program in Utah, I was not a person that thought I need mentors. I was a person that thought, I'll figure this out on my own. This is how everybody else does it. Nobody else has mentors, at least not that I know of. Like, I can do this. And what I ended up realizing was that I couldn't do this by myself. Having mentors was vital to helping me get to where I needed to be. But at the same time, these mentors didn't tell me what to do. These mentors didn't say, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. I came to them with a plan of what I wanted to accomplish, and then they came back to me and said, hey, I actually think it might be smarter for you to go down this path or this path, because I've done something similar, and it didn't work out for me going like this, and it did work out for me doing it like this. So as you progress in your own mentorship relationships, I really want to stress to you that your mentor is not someone that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do, but guide you as you tell them your plan and say, hey, these are things that I've done and they have worked, or things that I've done and they have not worked. So for me, when I lived in St. George, Utah, I really came to grips with the decisions that I had made on a personal level and how it affected my family, my friends, my state, my country, really, and how I was going to overcome it. And then on a professional level, it also helped me come to grips with the fact that I was literally unhireable on paper. I mean, if you had Googled my name at the time that I had gotten in trouble when I was 19 years old, you would have seen IUPD, does drug sweeps for 8. I was one of the 8. So on paper, it was very difficult for me to land an opportunity. It was very, very tough. But fortunately, I got an opportunity, and I realized that how you make someone feel in any given moment can totally change the way and totally change the opportunities they might provide to you. So I'm going to tell you that story right now. About 2 months after living in Utah, I got on a plane, flew back to Chicago. That's where my family's from, for the weekend, to let them know that my life's getting on track. And while I'm on this flight, I'm sitting next to a guy, and this guy's wearing like jean shorts, a cutoff sleeve t-shirt. He's got a goatee. He's even wearing sunglasses on the airplane. On appearances alone, I just thought he was like a landscaper or something, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to talk to this guy, see what he's about, see where he's at in his life and what's going on here. And I ended up chatting with him. Turns out he's the director of ground equipment for SkyWest Airlines. We start talking more. I start listening to more about what he has to say. By the time the plane lands, he offers me an internship on the spot doing financial analysis. And that was huge for me, because that was somebody who truly stuck his neck out for me. And I didn't tell him about my past. He just said, you know what? I really like who you are. I want to give you an opportunity. And that's exactly what he did. So I got extremely lucky, and I made the most out of that experience. And it was awesome. It was really a life-changing experience, because it showed me that if I could get an opportunity, a professional opportunity like that as a former drug dealer, anybody can get any job doing anything they want. Like, your dream job is not out of reach. Anybody who tells you that is lying to you, and they've already been beaten down by their own aspirations because they didn't go hard enough at them. So I really want to stress to you that you can get your dream job. Shoot, if I can get an opportunity as a former drug dealer, I can help other people land their professional aspirations as well. And that's one of the mentalities we have with Ambition in Motion, is essentially running with the mindset of, hey, network like a drug dealer. Network like as if you need to leave the most impactful impression on somebody when you're meeting with them. So then when they leave you, they're going to think to themselves, wow, I want to be closer to this person. I want to give this person an opportunity. I want to get more involved with this person's life because they really impress me. That's what we're trying to go for. That's the type of impression and impact we're trying to leave. So to finish out my story, about a year after living in Utah, I got really lucky. I had my felony charges dropped to a misdemeanor conviction. I got re-enrolled at Indiana University, and I got a second chance. I started Ambition in Motion because I recognized that if I could help people get mentors and then teach them the skills that I had learned in terms of how to network with people in a way that leaves an indelible impact on their life and leaves such a lasting impression that they're going to want to give you an opportunity. If I could help teach that to people, as well as help connect them with mentors that wanted to guide them, I could help them get to where they wanted to be and help them figure out what their dream job is and make that come to fruition, and help them identify what they wanted to achieve with their life. So that's essentially how Ambition in Motion got started. That is my story of how I got here. And essentially that's what makes me credible for why we do what we do. One of the biggest books that I was reading when I was 19 years old at that time in my life was Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And he's got this rule called the 10,000 hour rule. I don't know if you've ever read this book before, but he says that if you spend 10,000 hours doing anything, you will become world class at it. So for me, after I got in trouble and after I got that internship sitting next to the guy in the airplane, I decided that that was what I would become world class at. So I've essentially been meeting 3 to 5 new people every single day, just so I can get better at networking and relationship building. And it's not like a crazy amount of people every single day, but I'm consistent with it. And that is what has gotten me to this point where I've been pretty confident in my abilities to help teach people how to network, how to get their foot in the door, and how to meet people that are in areas that they thought they could never reach or never get in touch with. So I'm really excited to be working with you all. And I really just thought it was important to share with you my background and my story for how I got into this work, and essentially I got into doing this type of stuff, and how I really would love to help you get to where you would like to be with your career. So with that said, one of the biggest things that I love to focus on is your dream job. I think this is something that a lot of people sell short. I see a lot of times people thinking like, oh, I want to go after like the pragmatic job, or like the job my parents really want me to do, or like something that's really secure, or the job offer that pays me the highest amount of money, or the job offer that's the first. So then I know that I have something secure for me. And don't get me wrong, security and financial pay and all these things are amazing things. And obviously some people have different life obligations than other people. But when you are in a position where you have a little bit of flexibility, you don't have to maybe pay back certain things or for certain people, or have to provide for a family. If you're in a situation where you can go for your dreams, go for it. So what I want you to do right now is in the comment section. By the way, this is how we keep track of attendance for our workshops. What I want you to do right now is I want you to write down in the comment sections, what is your dream job? Like the dream job that your 12-year-old self will look at you and say, wow, I am proud that I am doing that. So I want you to think about this. And there's no right or wrong answer because it's your dream job. I want you to write down what your dream job is in the comment section. Go. And I also, by the way, want you to write this down on a pen and paper on your own notes right now. So I'll give you a couple minutes to write that down. Love it. Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for sharing. This is amazing. I love this participation. This is fantastic. This is so excellent to hear and see. Amazing. It looks like we've got so many people that want to become CEOs or CPAs, consulting managers, nurse practitioners, director of radiology services, event planning, entrepreneur, partner at a prestigious financial firm, archaeology. I love it. I love all of this. This is fantastic. I love seeing all this participation here. Now, one thing that I really want to focus on is I want to focus on the fact, and this is a more or less an unfortunate point, but most people don't go after their dream careers. Unfortunately, a lot of people go after what we would call like the pragmatical career of like, oh, this is stable, or oh, I'm going to start in this job, and then in 2 years I'm going to work towards this job, and then in some roundabout manner I'm eventually going to get to my dream job. And by the way, this is not let's say if you want to become an accountant, there are some people that are passionate about becoming accountants, and that's their thing. And if that's the case, if that's your dream job, awesome, that's amazing. But if you're thinking to yourself, I'm just going to be an accountant, so then I can maybe transition into this, and then maybe into that, and then maybe into this, and maybe into that, and then maybe in some roundabout manner, I'm eventually going to get to this career. And I want to challenge you to go for it right now, because you've got nothing else to lose. There's nothing that you should be fearful of, because at the end of the day, you may end up realizing that your dream career may not in fact be your dream career anymore. You may learn enough about the industry or from people in the career path itself that indicates to you that, you know what, you've changed what's your most fulfilling path. And that's okay. By the way, that's totally okay. Because you're gaining knowledge of what you want to achieve. Because the worst possible scenario you could possibly be in is not go after your dream career, not learn about what it's like, settle for something short, and then constantly sit in regret of, did I go after the right thing? I think one of the best people who have put this into context, I think one of the best stories that I've heard about this and put into context best is Jim Carrey's commencement speech. So I'm going to actually do a quick screen share real quick to share with you Jim Carrey's commencement speech, and just, yeah, essentially, just one of the best ways to convey how important it is to go after your dreams, because you can fail even not going after your dreams. So you might as well do what you love to do. So I'm going to share with you right now. Awesome. So hopefully you all can see my screen.
Life imagining ghosts, worried about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be.
Awesome. So I wanted to share with you that story because I think it's so vital, and just hearing that is just so powerful, just from another voice to showcase that you can go after your dream career. Like, one, I'm so proud of you all for sharing it on the comment section, what your dream career is. That's fantastic. But what I then want you to do is I want you to start thinking to yourself, is this something that can be real? And by the way, if your dream career has changed, that's okay. You know, what had started as your dream career, as you gain more knowledge, you will develop that even further. So it may change and it may grow and it may progress, and that's totally all right. But as long as you're constantly on a path towards fulfilling your dream career, you will always be happy. You will always feel satisfied that you are working towards something. There's no greater regret people have than not going after their dream career. Um, the point is that now is the time to begin thinking about this and what you want to accomplish with your goals. I mean, knowledge is power, and the knowledge to know what will fulfill you is vital to you achieving success and happiness. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you may be passionate about being an accountant. Like, if that's the case, that's awesome. But let's help you accomplish that goal. If you choose a career because it's pragmatic, you'll constantly live with the regret of not pursuing your dream path. You may justify that eventually you will be able to get there, but I'm here to tell you that now is the time to act and go for it. And as crazy as it seems, what you thought was your dream path and fulfilling career may not be it anymore. Maybe you meet people and learn about the field and decide that it's not the right fit for you. And if that's the case, that's completely fine, because you can now focus on what your next dream career is. You can identify what your next fulfilling path is. As long as you're constantly discovering, you can go to bed confident knowing that you are on the right path. 70% of Americans are either not engaged or actively disengaged with their work. That's according to Gallup. This means that 70% of Americans are either indifferent to their work or hate their jobs. If you aren't willing to constantly discover, I can almost assure you that you will fall into this category. If you are not constantly thinking to yourself, I want to discover more, but what do I want to do with my career? I don't want to settle. I want to find out what the right path is for me. If you fall into the category of settling, it's going to be very difficult to not fall into this category. However, if you are willing to constantly discover, I can promise you that you will get out of that trap, because this program is all about discovery. And the more that you discover about yourself, the more that you learn about yourself, the more you learn about what you want to do with your life and your fulfilling path, the more happier you will be with your life and your career. I mean, you're going to spend the majority of your life working. You might as well be doing something that's fulfilling. This program will teach you how to discover and constantly discover and uncover until that path fulfills you. And your mentor is here to guide, not to give you a handout. Your goal isn't to find the easiest path to the quickest and highest paying job. The goal is to find the most efficient path towards a fulfilling career, and being aware enough to recognize when you are not on the right path, and courageous enough to make the change when necessary. So you've identified what your dream career is, your dream path is. How are you going to achieve that fulfilling career? I want you to write this right now in the comment section. How are you going to get there? Write it in the comment section. Take a moment. And by the way, write it on your piece of paper in your notes. So yeah. How are you going to get there? Love it. Heather, thank you for sharing. Love it. Ashley, thank you for sharing. John, education, networking. George, apply on their website. Okay. Chase the knowledge. Okay. Very cool. Jack, don't give up. That's very cool. I mean, I think these are great steps. Keep sharing. Garrett Rogers, investigate journalists traveling. I love it. Vision to be better understand the marketplace. Get an entry-level job. Finish my bachelor's. Sammy, thank you. Brianna, network. Love it. Gain experience. Study. Push yourself. Network. I love all of these. Perseverance and hard work. Gianna, thank you. Carolyn, research, love it. Jack, travel, I love it. Keep sharing. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get to your dream career? Now, I'll give you a couple more seconds to fill in how you're going to get to your dream career. So my next question to you, and I don't ever want to sound morbid because everyone's got a plan, but as the famous line from Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What happens if that doesn't work? What happens if your plan of travel or study or network, what if the first email you send out doesn't get to the person? That person doesn't respond to you. He or she just doesn't respond. Or what if the voicemail you left doesn't get heard and maybe deleted or whatever, gets lost in the shuffle. What happens? How do you get your foot in the door? What happens next? Like, what steps are you going to take? I want you to write down, like, okay, if this doesn't work out, what's the next step? Step 2, step 3, step 4. I want you to write down this full layer of strategies of like how you're going to make success happen for your dream career. Right in the comment section. I want you to literally lay out everything that you are going to do to make sure that you achieve success. Because if it's that important to you, you will do anything. And I want to know what you're able to create and come up with. So write this down in the comment section, what you will do if it doesn't, and by the way, and I want you to be specific. Don't get me wrong, Ben, when you say get up and try again, I love it. That's great. But I want you to be specific. Like, what's the first thing you're going to do? Send an email to, Joe Schmo or Jenny Schmo. Great. What if Jenny doesn't respond? Next thing you're going to do, are you going to call her? Are you going to send an email to the next person? Are you going to send an email to this person? Are you going to show up at their office? What is the next thing that you're going to do to get your foot in the door with this dream opportunity that you want to have happen to you? Or is it, studying? Is it like, let's say you need to pass the CPA exam. Like, okay, what if you don't pass that CPA exam on the first try? What are you going to do next? What can you do to ensure that you pass on the next try? Like, I want you to think about every step that you're going to do, so then you are like, success is going to be an inevitable. Like, if this doesn't work, here's the next stage. And I just want you to be thinking about this and cultivating this in your mind. So then there's no such thing as not achieving success. Because if we can focus on that dream career, if we can focus on that dream job, that fulfilling career, that thing that we want to achieve, that goal that we have for ourselves, we will absolutely accomplish it if nothing else gets in our way. Will Smith has a saying, and I really love it a lot. He says, any focus on your plan B is a distraction from your plan A. Your plan A is your dream career. Anything else, anything that gets in the way of that, that's not that, but you might think, oh, well, if this doesn't happen, I've got this backup plan. Drop that. Drop the backup plan because it's a distraction from your plan A. Like, these strategies for how your plan A is going to work, those are just multiple ways that you're going to make the strategy of your plan A happen. But anything that's opposite or not in the direction of making that happen is going to get in your way of getting what you want. So I just want to stress, so importantly, focus on your plan A, focus on your dream career, focus on what you want to accomplish, and make it happen. And don't let any other distractions get in your way of getting there, because a plan B is just a distraction. Cool. I know this might sound like really intense or really potentially eye-opening, but I really want to stress the importance of just making sure that you are focused on what you want to accomplish, not only for your dream career, but even for this semester. Because when you go into your mentor meeting, it's going to be so much more helpful now that you've got something that you're working towards. When you have the mindset, when you have a goal that you're working towards, it's a lot easier to build a mentor relationship. Because like I said before, your mentor is not someone that's going to give you a handout. There's someone that's going to guide you. So you come in with a plan of like, I'm planning on doing this, 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 and this. What are your thoughts on this? They can now answer and respond and say, hey, I actually think that it might be better if you did it like this. That's how a mentor can really help you grow and thrive. Now, you can take it with a grain of salt. Your mentor's advice you may disagree with, and some of it you may agree with. So you can take what you like, leave out what you dislike, because at the end of the day, it's your path and it's your mission to figure it out for yourself. Your mentor's just there to guide you. So this workshop will be all about how to achieve success in this program and in any endeavor you pursue, and how to begin taking steps towards achieving your goal with your mentor. So the 3 keys to success that I've identified is honing your strategy, honing your story, and honing your state. Now, you can't really retain anything well if you're not in a positive state. I mean, literally, physically, what is your state? Like, how do you physically feel, your body? Like, are you feeling tired? Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling hungover? Are you feeling drunk? Are you feeling like, sad? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling dejected or jealous? How do you feel? If you're feeling negative in any possible way, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to have success in this program or just in general with anything that you pursue. So getting yourself physically into a state is vital to being successful in anything, whether it's a networking event, whether it's meeting your mentor, whether it's preparing to go work out or do anything in your life that you want to be better at. You have to be in a state conducive for being successful. Now, fortunately, I've got good news. It's really easy to get your body into an emotional state conducive for being successful, and a physical state conducive for being successful, because your emotions drive your emotions. And by that, I just mean you can physically do things that gets your body in a state ready and excited for doing something. So I don't care if your dog just died, if your boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with you, or something crazy just happened in your life. If there's an opportunity for you to take advantage of a goal that you have for yourself, you can physically get yourself into a state conducive for being successful. So what I'm going to have you all do right now, and by the way, this is something that I love to do because it helps get people ready for being successful, is I'm going to have you all get into what I call, or what in the industry we call, a power pose. This is something that was popularized by Amy Cuddy in her famous TED Talk. But essentially, people who get into a power pose increase their confidence and decrease their cortisol. That's a stress-inducing hormone. So if you're about to hop into an exam, this is something that you can do to get yourself excited and minimize anxiety about the exam and help you make better decisions. If you're about to go into a networking event or an interview, this is something that you can do to help you get your body into a physical state ready for doing that. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up, and you would do this typically for 2 minutes. We're not going to do it for that long just because we want to move along and get this workshop flowing. But if you were ever in a state or in ever situation where you're about to network or meet with somebody, here are some tips and tactics that you can do, one of which being power pose, the Superman pose, that can help you become help you get into a better state conducive for being successful in that scenario. So what I want you to do right now is I'm going to stand up. And what I want you to do, and this is what the power pose looks like, what I want you to do is I want you to stand up, and I want you to literally put your hands on your hips, your chest out, your chin up, like as if you're Superman or Superwoman, ready to take on the world. And you're going to stand like this for, normally you do this for 2 minutes. We don't have that kind of time right now. But yeah, you'd essentially stand like this for 2 minutes. And by the way, I know it may sound crazy that you're doing this either in your home or in your office or in your fraternity or sorority or wherever. Just stand up for 2 minutes, get yourself into a position that's just conducive for getting blood flowing and just yourself pumped up and just knowing that you can do this. You know, other things that you can do is just shake it out, let it loose, dance around, jump around, scream at the top of your lungs, fake laugh. There's so many things that you can do to get yourself into a state conducive for being successful. Those are just one of them. Those are just some of them. I'm a huge fan of dancing and screaming. And if you're ever in a quiet place that you know you can scream and dance around before going into an interview or any other professional setting, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing that, because that will get yourself ready physically for being successful. So thank you all for participating with me on that. I really appreciate that. I know obviously you might be in a public place, so standing up in a power pose might be a little embarrassing, but it's okay, because here's another big thing that I really want to stress. The only way that you can grow as a person is when you're uncomfortable. If you are not uncomfortable, if you're sitting in a lap of luxury, or you are comfortable, if you don't have a fire lit under your ass ready to try to get you to move and take action, I promise you're not going to grow. It's just plain and simple. It's just not going to happen. You have to be uncomfortable to grow. So put yourself in positions where it provides you with discomfort. It's okay. It's a good thing. It means that you are getting stronger and better. Think about any time that you've ever grown or learned or failed or fallen flat on your face. Every single time you had that happen to you, you grew, right? Of course you did. Because failure, being uncomfortable, drives growth. So I want to challenge you now just to think about situations that might make you uncomfortable, maybe public speaking, maybe dancing in public, maybe doing something that's goofy or out of the ordinary. I want to challenge you to do this more often, because this will help you become more comfortable in your skin and just give you more confidence to know that you can do it. You can accomplish anything. So the next thing that I talked about in terms of the 3 keys of being successful, that being your strategy, story, and your state. The second one is your story. Story is essentially like, what is the story that you tell yourself? So, you know, some people say, oh, well, you know, I'm an introvert, so I can't be good at networking. I can't put myself out there. Yeah, not with a story like that. Or someone might say, oh, I'm an extrovert, so I'm crazy when I'm around people. I can't contain myself when I'm meeting with people. If that's the case, you know, that's not an excuse. Networking is a skill. Like shooting a basketball or knitting a quilt, the more you practice, the better you get. So when it comes to your story, the more that you practice it and the more that you believe in yourself, the more likely you are to get there. You will manifest outcomes if you believe that they will actually come true. So the best way to do that is to tell yourself a positive story for how it's going to happen. Now, professional athletes do this all the time. When you've ever watched LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, you ever see them hit a last-second shot or hit the free throws when the clock's on the line? Of course, you've seen them do that. And the reason why you've seen them do that is because you've seen them prime themselves for that situation. Sure, they practiced it a million times, but they've literally dreamt up and thought in their heads, how is this situation going to go in the best possible way? Like, what is the best possible outcome from this situation? And then they dreamt it up, they visioned it, they visualized it, and then they made it happen. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to write up a narrative for yourself. I mean, you've got your dream job, you've identified how you're going to get there. What I want you to do is I want you to write yourself a narrative, a story. Like, don't tell yourself like bullet points of like, okay, first I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. I want you to have a story of how you're going to achieve your goal by the end of the semester. Maybe it's landing an internship. Maybe it's landing a job. Maybe it's expanding your network. Maybe it's getting promoted. What I want you to do is I want you to create a story for yourself. Take a minute or two to write down a story of how you're going to achieve your dream job and how you're going to achieve your goal by the end of the semester from this mentorship program. So take a minute, write it down. You don't have to write it in the comment section. I just want you to write it on your own of how you're going to get there. So take a minute to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set a timer right now for a minute. So sometimes when I'm doing these workshops, I tend to rush myself. So I'm going to give you a full minute. I want you to write down your story for how you're going to achieve success. Take a minute, go. Yeah, take a minute, write out your story. This is a narrative. This is essentially like, maybe you can start with, okay, so first I'm going to meet with my mentor. Then I'm going to start reaching out to professionals in these areas. And, then all of a sudden I land an interview. I'm in the interview setting. I'm meeting with professionals in the field. The interview goes really, really well. They end up offering me a second interview. I go into their corporate headquarters. They fly me out to their city, where their city is located. Their headquarters is located, rather. You have a second interview. It goes really well. Then you have a group interview. You meet with the CEO, and then all of a sudden she decides to offer you the job. And now you're working there. Now, what does that look like? How does the work environment look? How does it feel? How does it work? How does it feel to work with the people around you? I want you to write out this story for how you're going to achieve success. So you've got 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Alrighty. So hopefully you were able to write out your story for how you're going to be successful, and how in that story for what you're going to do to get there in a narrative form, not bullet points, but literally, okay, first this is what happens, and then all of a sudden this happens. And by the way, getting in the details, like thinking about like what the interview is wearing, or what the interviewer is wearing, or what the other people in the office are like, or what their office looks like, or what building their office is in looks like. Thinking about all those things is crucial. I mean, it's kind of like a book. I mean, at the end of the day, the more details you have, the more likely it is to be real to you. If you can truly see what success looks like, you can achieve anything, but it's all within your head. I mean, if you don't win that head game, if you sit and think to yourself, well, I don't deserve this, or I can't possibly get there, or I have to do this, and this first. Yeah, no way you're going to get there. And the craziest thing, and this is something I love to share with people, but the Journal of Vocational Behaviors came out with some research recently, and what they had identified was that people who have 40% of the qualifications listed on a job posting are just as likely to get the job as somebody who's got 90% of the qualifications. So what does that mean? It means that the people who are confident enough in their own skills and their qualifications to apply for the job that they didn't even have half the qualifications for are just as likely to get the job as someone who's got almost all of them. The point I'm trying to make is that you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself that you can get this opportunity, there's no way that you're going to get the opportunity. It's just not going to happen. No one's going to show up at your doorstep and say, hey, here's a full-time job at Google. These companies have to hire somebody. Why not you? So I really want to stress the importance of that, to know that you absolutely deserve every single opportunity that you want to achieve in your life. And you have to believe in yourself that you can get there. Anybody that tells you no, anybody that says that doubts you or throws pessimism towards your way, fuck them. And I'm sorry for swearing, but I really want to stress the importance of that I believe in you, and that this whole community of people in Ambition Emotion believes in you. Because we know that you can absolutely achieve your success, because I know that I have gone from being a former drug dealer to just helping hundreds of people, thousands of people get to where they want to be with their lives and their careers and find a fulfilling path for themselves. Like, if I didn't believe in myself, there's no way that I would be here right now. So I'm telling you as living proof that you absolutely can achieve your career aspirations and your dream jobs, but you have to believe in yourself. So the next point and the final point of success, and that is your strategy. So how are you going to actually get there? Don't get me wrong. The story and the story, the state and the story are the two most important things. The strategy is the next most important thing. You have to have a strategy for getting there, and you have to have more than one strategy. We kind of reviewed this when I said, okay, well, what if your dream? What if it doesn't happen with the way that you thought you would go about getting your dream job? We already kind of covered that. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to stress and discuss with you is a specific tangible thing that you can do on a regular routine basis that will help you get to where you want to be. And that is connecting with people in your field of interest. At the end of the day, who you know is a huge piece of how you're going to get to where you want to be. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's something that Jim Rohn said. He's a motivational speaker. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that. I want you to just take a second. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they doing the things that you want to do? Are they living their lives in a way that you want to live your life? Or are they behind you? I know it sounds crazy, but I want to challenge you. Because if the people that you surround yourself with are behind you and not in front of you, you're going to constantly settle for being behind. Your goals, your aspirations, your dreams. But if the people that you surround yourself with are constantly striving, you will get there. You will absolutely get there. You know, Michael Jordan, when he got kicked off the high school basketball team, when he didn't make it as a high school basketball player, Michael Jordan didn't compare himself to the best players on that court because he knew he was better than that. He compared himself to the best possible version of himself. He compared himself to pros when he was in high school. And even though he didn't know necessarily any of these professionals, he emulated their skills and their abilities and their shots, their moves, so then he could become the best possible basketball player he could possibly be. That's just a story of, you know, the greatest basketball player of all time. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you surround yourself with the people and you emulate the things that the people that you would like to be like do, you will help yourself get to where you want to be. So with that said, your strategy is all about how we can help you get connected with people. So fortunately, in Ambition in Motion, I'm going to show you one of the best ways you can go about getting connected with people in the field that you would love to connect with. So one of the best things that I like to use to connect with people, like I said, I connect with 3 to 5 different people every day. I use LinkedIn like crazy. I connect with people all the time on LinkedIn. And you can connect with them virtually. That's cool. That's fine. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how we can go about getting you connected with people in your field of interest on LinkedIn and begin building a rapport and a relationship with them and start setting up informational interviews with them. So first, it all starts with setting up a LinkedIn. If you don't have one, build one, set one up immediately after this workshop. Like, that's the first thing that you should do. Do not delay. It takes you 2 seconds. It is not a hassle. It is really, really quick, but you have to set one up if you want to use LinkedIn as a way to expand yourself professionally and build your network on essentially LinkedIn. But the second thing is I want then you to begin connecting with people that you already know. That's the first thing. LinkedIn will look through, like, you know, if you signed up through Gmail, they'll look through your Gmail address book. They'll make suggestions for you. But then third, I then want you to start connecting with 20 new professionals on LinkedIn every single week. When it comes to your strategy, it's all about rituals. I'm not, you know, when it comes to your strategy, it's, like I said, all about rituals. I want you to be committing yourself to doing something every single day, not a big, huge thing on one day and then maybe never do it again and do it sporadically. To give you an example, I think of like working out, you know, as opposed to working out for 3 hours, you know, maybe do 2 hours of basketball and 1 hour of lifting, you know, one time every 2 weeks, maybe, but whenever you can find time. I suggest doing like 10 to 15 minutes of working out like every single day. That's how it works with LinkedIn or expanding your professional network. You don't have to connect with 100 people in one sitting. All I recommend is that you connect with 4 people every single business day. So 20 people a week, which takes 2 seconds. And I'm going to walk you through how to do that right now. So let's say I am interested in connecting with somebody at, let's say my dream company. I'm a huge Chicago sports fan. So I love the Chicago Cubs. Oops, I'm going to do a screen share real quick. Let's say I want to connect with someone at the Chicago Cubs. I would type this into LinkedIn. So I'm going to click Chicago Cubs. So type them into the search bar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click see all 1,135 employees on LinkedIn. Now I may know somebody. I know this guy Ryan Kane here. He does procurement and logistics for the Chicago Cubs. But let's say I want to get into I don't know. Let's say I want to get into sales. So I'm going to want to only connect with second degree connections, and I want to connect with, let's say sports, marketing and advertising, let's say sales. Sales isn't popping up, but yeah, we'll just do marketing and advertising and sports. So I'm going to click apply. And now I can see people do, Andrew Barrett, he does group sales representative for the Chicago Cubs. Joseph Hartigan, supervisor, quality control, production assistant for the Chicago Wolves and Chicago Cubs, lead associate, ballpark operations. So let's say I want to connect with somebody in sales. Let's say Andrew Barrett. I'm going to click on him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to then click connect. But here's the thing. You don't want to connect with somebody and not leave a note. They don't know who you are. You should leave a note. So when I click add a note, I'm going to type something up. But as opposed to typing something up, fortunately for you, on Ambition in Motion's website, I'm going to show you that right now, you can actually go on our site and click on templates. This is something that's extremely helpful for introducing yourself. You can copy and paste this message. Literally go to our site, go to templates, just log in, go to this guy Andrew Barrett's profile, paste it in there. Hi Andrew. I am if I'm a senior at Indiana University, I'll write senior at Indiana University, or I could just say I'm a graduate of Indiana University, and I'm really interested in your work. I was hoping to learn more about what you do by connecting on LinkedIn and potentially having a brief informational interview with you. Boom. I would send that off, and boom, all of a sudden, I'm now connected with Andrew Barrett. Super easy, super simple. Yeah, it's just a great way just to figure out, and connect with people in your field of interest. And by the way, this goes for any company. Every company's on LinkedIn. You can find people at any company that you want to. Now, the next step after connecting with somebody on LinkedIn is you're going to want to wait for them to accept your connection request. But before you even do that, I suggest setting up a Calendly account. Now, everybody's got to set up a Calendly account to meet with their mentor, but I suggest that when you're setting up an informational interview with other professionals in your field of interest, that you use Calendly to set up those meetings. It's really simple, it's really easy, and we actually show you how on the website. So I'll just go back, do another quick screen share. So do a quick another screen share right here. Oops, there we are. So go to Ambition in Motion, click on the Calendly site, set up your Calendly. It's really easy. Just go to calendly.com. It's free. And what it does is it helps you set up your schedule. So one thing that I would suggest that you do, if you've got a class schedule, like make sure that no one can book a meeting for you during a time that you've got class or something permanent going on in your schedule. But then besides that, leave your schedule open. It makes it super easy to introduce yourself, because once you've got this, as opposed to having to go back and forth to schedule a meeting, all you have to do is link the link, and all you have to do is click it, select the time, and then all of a sudden it pops up on your calendar. It'll make your life substantially easier when meeting with people. So once they've connected with you on LinkedIn, so I'm just going to give you an example. I'll go to my LinkedIn and click on messaging. Let's say, this guy, Andrew Coker, he connected with me on LinkedIn. And one thing that I could do is I could go to Ambition in Motion. I could click on templates, and I can click on email introduction. By the way, this email introduction also works for a LinkedIn follow-up message. I, by the way, suggest that you do both. I suggest that you send both an email introduction and a LinkedIn introduction. So what I would do is I'd go to Andrew and I'd say something like this. I'd say, "Dear Andrew, thanks for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I'm really interested in pursuing a career in your field, but as a, let's say I'm a recent graduate. As a recent graduate, I recognize, or a senior or a junior or a freshman, I recognize there's a lot to learn before jumping to my career path. I was hoping to schedule a 15-minute informational interview with you so that I can learn more about your work, how you got into your path, and why you chose this path. If you don't mind chatting with me to make scheduling easier, I've attached, link to my Calendly. Boom. I put my Calendly right here, which is www.calendly.com/Garrett Ambition. Boom. I'd send it in there. He'd click the link. Could you select the date and time that works for you? I put in my name. Super easy. And what this does is it now gets me on his radar, and as opposed to us having to message back and forth, he can now see that I'm interested reaching out to him. People, by the way, most people want to help you out, especially either as a recent graduate or a current college student. Even if you're an older graduate or an older student, people want to help you. Like at the end of the day, people want to help you succeed and be successful in your career. Let them help you. Like, you deserve this. And by the way, you're not annoying until you get a response. So one of the things that I suggest that you do is if you don't hear back from them either on LinkedIn or via email 2 days after sending them a message, send them another one. Send them another one as many times necessarily as it takes to get a response. I mean, you are not annoying until you get a response. That's one of the biggest things that I really want to stress, because you are a young professional trying to learn about your career path and what you want to accomplish in your life and your career. And you deserve to get a response. You do not deserve to get blown off, and you deserve to get acknowledged. So this templates tab can give you a lot of insight as to how you can leverage this and start beginning connecting with people on LinkedIn, as well as just in your professional network in general. There's more information on here, like scheduling a follow-up call, just how to send a network update, and I'll cover these in future workshops. Suggested questions to ask during informational interviews, and then on the tips side, we've got, how to navigate your mentor relationship, how to follow up, how to make the most out of that experience. So our website is really valuable in terms of helping you prepare for your mentor meetings. If you ever have questions, you can always go to your brand ambassador. But our website has a lot in terms of what you can do to essentially make the most out of that experience. So one of the things that I really like to touch on, and I think I just kind of touched on it already, but it's fears and why we don't get what we want. The reason why we don't accomplish what we want in our life is because of fear. That's it. I mean, fear is bullshit that goes in our head that tells us why we can't accomplish something and holds us back from getting what we want in this life. And if you let fears jump into your world, you will not be successful. That's just it. If you let fear creep in and hold you back from getting what you want, you are not going to get there. However, if you can overcome this fear, if you can recognize and tell yourself a story that you deserve to be successful, you absolutely will get there. And it just takes the persistence to actually go about following up and making it happen. So yeah, I just want to stress the importance of following up, making sure that you're constantly getting into a routine where you're connecting with people. So my rule of thumb is for every 30 informational interviews that you set up, it will lead to one interview with a head recruiter and potentially an offer. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule, but it's something that I like to follow. So for every 30 informational interviews you set up, what I've experienced has led to an interview with the head recruiter and a potential opportunity at that respective company. So be persistent. And by the way, another big note, even if you've already connected with one person at the company, connect with more people. Like, sometimes they talk to each other, but for the most part, they don't talk to each other. So if you've connected with one person, for an informational interview, they're not necessarily going to tell every colleague in their office that they've connected with you for an informational interview. They'll probably just say, that was a really interesting and unique call. I look forward to staying in touch with that person. But as long as you've built more relationships and a greater rapport with more people, the more likely you are to succeed. In fact, 70% of all job offers go to people who know somebody at that company. So the more people you know at that company, the more likely you are to increase your chances of actually getting an offer at that respective company. So the next part, set up as many informational interviews as you possibly can. I can't stress this enough. Informational interviews is how you build your education and figure out whether or not this path is the right fit for you and how you can get yourself into the right position to succeed. You've got a lot of assumptions about how you're going to get there, and that's great. But what happens when we assume? We make an ass out of you and me. I want you to stop assuming and start knowing exactly how you're going to make the most out of this experience. And by that, I just mean set up informational interviews, gain knowledge, meet people, and get a clear expectation for exactly what you want for your fulfilling career path. So then you will know, even at a greater level, that you deserve to be in that position and succeed. So how does this translate to your mentor meeting? Come to your mentor meeting with something you are working towards. Don't come empty-handed. Don't come without questions. There are questions listed on our website. There are templates for how you can make the most out of that experience. And I'm telling you right now how you can start setting yourself on a path to being successful with this goal that you're working towards. Share your goal freely with your mentor, and also be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. Share your concerns. Let your mentor help you overcome those concerns. It's okay. But what I really don't want you to do is I don't want you to go into your first mentor meeting empty-handed, like without a goal, without a plan of how you're going to achieve that goal, or a list of questions that you want to ask your mentor. If you come in empty-handed and say, hey, I guess you're my mentor, what's going on now? It's not going to go well. So that is the final piece of our workshop this evening. So what I wanted to do next is I wanted to last two things before we go into the Q&A. And by the way, I apologize. I recognize that we are going over right now. I wanted to create a brief social media plug. We're raffling off 5 $50 gift cards at the end of the semester for posting about what you've learned in the program and tagging us. This can be from a workshop. This can be from a mentor. It could be from anything. So if you create a post on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn about something you learned, and then you tag us, for every post, you'll get essentially a new raffle ticket, increasing your odds of winning. You can post up to 25 times over the course of the semester. But yeah, it just helps show us that you're learning, that you're really enjoying the program, and that you're making the most out of this experience. And yeah, we want to reward you for posting about it. So that's just a quick little social media plug there. The last thing that I wanted to cover, this is something you probably all have questions about. And I, by the way, will send an email at the end of this workshop with information on this. It might be tomorrow morning, actually. But first, I want to go over a timeline for the program this semester. So February 3rd was the deadline to sign up. Tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the first workshop. You only need to attend one workshop. Now, on February 13th, that is Wednesday, you will be informed of your mentor on the MentorResource.com website. All you have to do is log in, go to the My Mentor tab, and your mentor will be ready. It'll show you who your mentor is, and you can start reaching out. By the way, it is up to you to reach out to your mentor. We will give you an email introduction template. You can copy and paste it. You can edit it however you like. We'll give you your mentor's contact information, but it is up to you to make the first move and build and start the relationship. And you need to have your first call with your mentor by March 1st. So I strongly suggest that on Wednesday, when you get your mentor, that you immediately email him or her to set up that first phone call. And if you don't hear back, send a follow-up email. Send a follow-up email. I believe we also include their phone number as well. Maybe even send them a call or a text message. Just say, hey, I'm your mentee. Your messages could have gone to the spam folder, so be persistent. Remember, these are people that have signed up to be a mentor, so you can be annoying. Follow up with them until they get back to you so that you can schedule your calls. And if you followed up with them at least 5 times and have not heard back from them, you can come to your brand ambassador, and that person can come to us, and we can help make sure that your mentor is still on board and make sure that any confusion is clarified from that. On February 24th, 25th, and 26th, we will have our second workshop. It's also at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You only need to attend one of the workshops. I will send you an RSVP link later this week with information on how to RSVP for that workshop. So the next key is your brand ambassador. So your brand ambassador should have emailed you by now and introduced him or herself to you. If they have not, please email me to let me know this, and I will make sure that your brand ambassador makes the introduction. There's a chance that their email went to your spam, so please check your spam folder before following up with me. By the way, my email is garrett@ambition-in-motion.com. I'm sure you all have my email because I've emailed all of you about these workshops for this evening and just throughout the so far this semester. So yeah, your brand ambassador is a very important person. This person is your go-to person for the program this semester. They are the person you go to with questions, guidance, insight, and feedback over the course of the semester, and they will schedule 3 one-on-one meetings with you as well as 3 group meetings with you over the course of the semester. The goal of these conversations is to get you thinking about your career path, what you want out of your desired career and your dream career, both on a personal and professional level, and what you want to achieve in your career and how you can start taking steps towards getting there. They're just a peer person that you can go to, a peer mentor essentially, that you can go to for guidance and insight. By February 21st, on the ambitioninmotion.com website, under the My Mentor tab, you will see a new task titled the Mid-Semester Survey. You will take this survey while having your conversation with your brand ambassador. So for every one-on-one meeting, you'll be doing a survey with them. So we'll be asking you a list of questions, and you'll be just going through those questions with your mentor. And it just helps give some context because obviously when you're going through a survey, if you're just doing it by yourself, you're kind of in your own echo chamber. So having that brand ambassador with you as you're filling out this survey allows you to go through and walk through the answers to those questions. So then you've got someone that you can bounce ideas off of and thoughts off of. So they're a great resource for that. Your first brand ambassador conversation should be accomplished by March 10th. Your second one-on-one brand ambassador conversation should be accomplished by April 10th. And your third brand ambassador conversation should be accomplished by May 10th. So your group meetings are also led by your brand ambassador, and they will either be in person or virtual, whichever is most convenient. I recognize that if you are on a campus that is remote, or if you are in a remote area, it makes just most sense to do a video call like Zoom. That's totally all right, or Skype. These conversations will allow you to learn how other students are using the program and are working with their mentor, and potentially provide some insight and ideas on how you can make the most out of your mentorship. You're also encouraged to invite your mentor to attend these group meetings as well, as it allows your mentor to interact with other students from your organization in new ways, as well as you to learn from other mentors from your group. This is not a substitute for your individual mentor calls, and if your mentor cannot attend the group meetings, that is okay. But just it's always great that you can invite him or her to attend the group meetings with your brand ambassador, as well as your peers. The first group meeting should be accomplished by March 10th. Your second group meeting should be accomplished by April 10th, and your third group meeting should be accomplished by May 10th. Your brand ambassador will reach out to you about scheduling those meetings. The other final pieces in terms of the timeline are the third and fourth workshops. The third workshop's on March 17th, 18th, and 19th at 8 p.m. You only need to attend one, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the final workshop is on April 7th, 8th, and 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. You only need to attend one of those workshops. And then we will send a post-program assessment in mid-May to garner your feedback on the program. So that is it. That is the extent of the workshop this evening. And by the way, in terms of all those timelines and dates, I will send you an email with all that information, so then you have it. So no need to worry about that. So I would love to jump in for some Q&A. So I'm going to just go through here, jump through the comments section, and just see what questions you posted and asked, and then answer any questions that you may have. So I'm just going to jump in here. Oh, sorry, one last thing. So the way that you get credit, just like you got credit for attending the workshop tonight, your comments are what give you credit. When you schedule your meetings with your mentor via Calendly, every single meeting that's set up on Calendly will send you an automated email that just says that it confirms your meeting. What you're going to do to get credit for your mentor meetings is you're going to forward that email to me, to Garrett at ambition-in-motion.com. I'll send you, like I said, more information about this and just instructions on how to do this. But yeah, as long as you forward me your each meeting and make sure that you get that done before March 1st for the first one, April 1st for the second one, and May 1st for the third one, you are good. The meeting doesn't actually have to be before those dates. You just have to have scheduled it before those dates. So I just want to be very clear about that. Forward that to me. That's how you get credit for having those 3 mentor meetings. Yeah, so that's like the last key piece right there. So let me jump in. I'm looking through. I love all the comments. We've gotten so many comments here. It's fantastic. Looking to see if there are any questions here. So I'm going through here. Awesome. Fantastic. Sorry, I'm just looking through all of the questions here. I don't see any questions at the moment. Oh, great questions. Rachel Siegel. Do we need to forward brand ambassador meeting / calls too? No. So yeah, for the brand ambassador one-on-one meetings, you do not need that forward that to me, because every student is taking that survey with you as the brand ambassador during that conversation. That's how we record that you've had that meeting. So that's totally fine. You do not need to you do not need to forward that. For the brand ambassador meetings, you only need to forward your mentor meetings. Maxine, you've got the question of, do we need to make a new Calendly account for this, or can we use an existing one? Yeah, you can use an existing one if you already have it. Seriously, you do not need to make a new Calendly account. Calendly is universal. Just most people we have identified do not have it. So yeah, one question. Hoffel. Can LinkedIn block you if you send too many requests? LinkedIn will not block you. What they will do is that you have reached your like free user limit, your community use limit. And what that will do is it will not block you, but what it will do is it'll limit your ability to search people. So you can click on a company, and maybe as opposed to showing you everybody that works at that company, it'll only show you maybe the top 3 people. So what you can then do is go to their website. So if you're looking for somebody specific on LinkedIn, you can go identify who that specific person is, find their title, and then type that into the search bar on LinkedIn, and that will ideally show up on the top 3 results, so then you can still connect with more people. But yeah, and by the way, that refreshes after a month. So if you're not hitting your community, like your user search limit, you're not doing it right. So yes, you should hit that. It's a good thing. It means you're connecting and using LinkedIn right, and you're building your network and building relationships with people. Jasmine, should we wait to have our meeting with our brand ambassador after we have our first mentor conversation? Yes, but ideally, you've met your mentor and have ideally reach out to your mentor first. Now, sometimes I know mentors can be busy. So if your mentor has a long delay, maybe he or she is out of town and just needs some time to, set up that first meeting, that's okay. That means that's in that sort of scenario, you can have your brand ambassador meeting before your mentor meeting. That's totally all right. But great question. Ideally, though, you've already had your mentor meeting and then can talk about and rehash that with your brand ambassador. But I recognize logistically, sometimes it doesn't always work out exactly like that. So more questions. Sorry. Is it important? So Greg has a question. Is it important to not only seek out help from a mentor, but find out from them as well? I don't want to seem like I'm just using them to get ahead. So Greg, if I'm understanding your question correctly, you're saying, is it important to not only seek out help from the mentor? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, your mentor is not there to give you a handout. Your mentor is not here to like hand you a job or an internship. They're there to guide you. So, the whole point I think of this workshop tonight is what I've been trying to stress is you should use LinkedIn, you should use and connect with people, and you should have a plan for how you're going to achieve either your dream job or getting that promotion or working up your path or getting to the career that you want to be. And you should be actively working towards it and share with that plan with your mentor. And don't expect your mentor to offer you an introduction to anybody or to tell you exactly what you need to do. You need to tell your mentor what your plan is and then let him or her give you guidance as to what they've learned throughout their career and how that might be able to affect your plan and your path. Essentially, they are there as a guide. They are not there as like the Sherpa, if that makes any sense. They are not there to say, hey, this is the only way up the mountain. They're there to say, hey, you planned out your path up the mountain, and I think this is a smart move, and I think that there might be some mistakes here. But at the same time, take it with a grain of salt. You are the driver of your own path. So if you disagree with some things that your mentor says, that's okay. They are not the end all be all expert on a certain subject, and you know yourself better than anybody else. So trust yourself, go for it, and do what you need to do to be successful. So one question Brandy has was, we forward/share our calendar with you, just the confirmation email or of the meeting being scheduled? Yes. So once you schedule a meeting on Calendly, a confirmation email will be sent to your email. Say, hey, you've scheduled a meeting with Jane Doe Mentor for this date and time. You'll just forward that email to me, and that just allows me to keep track of the fact that you've had your 3 mentor meetings. To Toot Benton, does your criminal background ever come up in your career? I mean, sure it does, but I think for me, my biggest focus is really being upfront about it. I mean, I control my own narrative. If I don't talk about my story, if I don't share with you my story and how I got here, I allow another person, I allow you or anybody else for that matter, to formulate your own story about me, positive or negative. So if I control the narrative, I can now own the story and now make sure that you are understanding exactly what I'm trying to convey to you and why my story has made me a stronger person, not a weaker person. So I am a big fan of of honing your story, of stating a time that you had to overcome adversity, even if it wasn't being a drug dealer. Like, everybody's faced adversity in their life. Share your story. That's what gets people excited about you. Like, people get invested like emotionally, not logically. So utilize your story and the emotions that it brings out in people by sharing it and being vulnerable, because the more vulnerable you are, the more attractive you are to the people that you are around, and the more likely you are to have a successful relationship with them. Yeah. Awesome. Looking for other questions on here. So Sammy, one of the things that you had a question of was when someone books with me on Calendly, it comes up as an event on my Calendly, but when I book on Calendly with someone, it does not show up on my events list. Is there a way to change this? So no, great question. So if I'm understanding the conversation right, it seems like your Calendly might not be linked with your personal calendar. So that would be something that you would look into if you use Gmail calendar or Google Calendar, you can look into that. If you use Outlook calendar, you can look into that. I know Calendly works with both of those. But yeah, whatever online calendar you use, just make sure that it is linked and integrated with that. And that might be something that you check out with your Calendly settings to make sure that it is linked, because once it is, then it pops up and it's really easy. And people then also, when it's fully synced, they'll recognize when you're busy. So if you put an event on your calendar, like on your phone or whatever, it'll essentially block off that time frame, so then no one else can book a time for that meeting. So it's really convenient and helpful tool. Any other questions? So Garrett Rogers has a question of, so we need to create a Calendly if we do not have one yet? Yes, create a Calendly. Quinn Snow. Awesome. So Chanel, I'm in need of a voluntary internship in healthcare management to complete my degree. Can my mentor help me with that? Potentially. You know, it really all just kind of depends on where your mentor's at. But here's the thing: utilize this program. Connect with people on LinkedIn. So Chanel, my biggest challenge to you is don't rely on your mentor for the internship. Literally, go to LinkedIn, type in healthcare management and your city, and you will start to find people in healthcare management in your city. Start connecting with them like crazy. If you need this now to graduate, I would start connecting with like 20 people a day. Using that message, that template on Ambition Emotions website, on our website, literally copy and paste it, blast it off to as many people as you possibly can. And then once they connect with you, send them that message, that email message. You can send it to them on LinkedIn as well as email them that, but send it to them immediately. And start scheduling as many informational interviews as you can. Like I said, my rule of thumb, 30 informational interviews tends to lead to 1 interview with the head recruiter. And that's your shot to get the opportunity, but make it happen. And you got to get started now. So if time is of the essence, especially if time is of the essence, go for it. But I think, by the way, I strongly encourage everybody to get started now, because that's how you're going to drive the greatest results for yourself for the end of the semester. So Heather, quick question was, where will our mentor be? Where will our mentor be given to us? It'll be given to you on the Ambition in Motion website. So you're going to log in, just go to ambition-in-motion.com, log in, go to the My Mentor tab. Right now it says we are working on your mentor. By Wednesday, you will see your mentor, his or her contact information, and an email template that you can copy and paste to introduce yourself. You need to introduce yourself right away so then you can schedule your first mentor meeting by March 1st. March 1st is coming up. It's only 18 days away. So, or 19 days away rather. So yeah, get on it, get setting up those meetings, and yeah. Toot Bendon, does Calendly have a mobile app? Yes, I believe so, but I know for sure they have a web app. I strongly encourage you to use that as a web app, because then you can see your calendar in front of you. But I'm almost certain they have a web app as well, or a mobile app as well. But I have not personally downloaded it myself. But either way, it's really simple and easy to use. Chloe Shu, for some reason that is not crystal clear about the future career goal. What advice will you give? Oh, for someone that is not crystal clear about their future career goal, what advice will you give him or her? Okay, so great question. Yeah, so if you're not clear about what your career, like future career goal is, that's okay. That's totally all right. But what I would strongly suggest that you do is identify things that you're passionate about. Like, think about back to your 12-year-old self. Like, what would the greatest, coolest job be? Like, eradicate all conditioning that you might have about what's pragmatic, or what's what's realistic, or what you think is realistic. Get rid of all of that. Just think to yourself, if you could do anything, what would the coolest possible opportunity, what would the coolest possible job be? Now, once you've thought about that, write it down and start there, and start meeting people in that field, start meeting people in that industry. Maybe it's something obscure. Maybe you want to be a ringleader for Barnum and Bailey Circus. That's okay. That's cool. We can start connecting with people at Barnum and Bailey. Whatever your dream career is, there's no negative judgment about it. And just because you've gotten an education in one path, in one degree path, does not define that is what you do for the rest of your life. There are plenty of people that get a degree in one thing and then get a career in something totally different. If you're passionate about something, you're curious about learning more about a field, like, start there and then work your way out. Realize that is or is not the right fit for you. And then you can start meeting people or learning about new fields within that field that are more specific to what you want to do. So, Chloe, hopefully that helps. I think just from here, it's like there's no wrong answer. The only wrong answer is not getting started now. The only wrong answer is not getting started now. That's procrastinating and not getting started is the only bad move you can take. Getting started, even if you think it's a crazy, goofy, ridiculous career. By the way, there's no such thing as a crazy, goofy, ridiculous career. I mean, I think what's the stat? Like 80% of all jobs in 10 years don't exist today. So dream big, dream out of the box, and know that you can achieve anything, and go for it. But get started now. Yeah, so Shalika, question was, will we be able to replay the session? Absolutely. This is all recorded. The link that you have, you can use to re-watch this workshop again. So yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. By the way, quick thing, if you have, because right now when I'm looking through your chat in terms of just like keeping attendance, if you have like a name, if like your name listed on here is not something that's like clearly identifiable as like your name that I would have internally on my list, please just comment your name just so that I can know. Let's say, you know, for example, like Toot Benton. I don't know if like that's your first and last name, but just, you know, just give me an update on your name, or anybody that might have like their email that's, you know, something that's different than what I might see on here. If you don't mind giving me clarity of like your name, that would make it easier for me to keep track and attendance. But thank you all for being here tonight. I'm really excited to be working with you all. I hope this was a great launching first step for the program, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And yeah, look forward to having you connect with your mentor on Wednesday. Have a good night.